Glory 84, Beztati versus Petpanomrung is among us. Time for me to break down every fight in the card from the first fight on the prelims to the main event. Into the heavyweight division, Nabal Chachab will be taking on the debuting Sofin Leyduni. Nabal Chachab just recently defeated Kiatmuu9 back in the Glory 83. Chachab utilizes great pressure, he mixes in the boxing and kicks very well. He's got a very high output for the heavyweight division, and even though he doesn't have a lot of punching power to him, he does make up for it with good cardio. Leyduni utilizes good boxing fundamentals. He's got a good right straight and has some power in there. But I think Chachab is just going to wear him out over the course of the fight. The pressure is going to be too much for him, and Leyduni is not going to be able to land those powerful punches if he's on the back foot as Chachab does. And I do think that Leyduni has problems with his cardio. With someone facing someone like Chachab who's constantly pushing you is going to cause more and more problems for him. So we'll have Chachab taking a decision here. And in another behemoth heavyweight kickboxing contest, David Tupui will be taking on Strafi Mitrik. Both these guys are making their debut, and they're both kind of similar in that they're slower, bigger heavyweight guys who may not have the best technique in the world, but make up for it with raw power. Now, this one is going to be probably the hardest one to predict, because both of these guys, it's going to come down to basically just who lands the big shot first. And I think that person will be Mitrik. I think that he inserts leg kicks better into his game and is a little bit more technical with how he launches that power shot in. He is faster as well, and despite being almost 70 pounds lighter than Tupui, I think that he has actually shown more of a capacity to knock somebody out. So I have faith that Mitrik will do good work early on until he finds a knockout blow. I'll have Mitrik taking the fight via a first round knockout. Moving into the main card, there is a welterweight kickboxing contest between Chico Khbabez versus Stefan Ozari. Khbabez has a very technical Dutch style, mixes in the kicks in the boxing very well. A lot of good pressure there. Stefan Ozari is a very young prospect, only 21 years old, undefeated in the game, Romanian kickboxing champion. In my opinion, I just think he's a little too green to the sport. I think that if you looked at the last guy that he beat to get into this position, it was a 9-2 Alexandru Amaratel. Overall, most of the guys that he's beaten have not even had a Wikipedia page. While Khbabez has even fought Jay Overmeer in a very close fight with him, I think that he's just fought higher level competition. He also has a lot more powerful punches and has inserted them better into his game. I think it's just a little bit too early for Ozari to be fighting in Glory against such an elite level guy. I think it's going to look similar to how Armin and Bahrain took on Soren Kalunik, and that the veteran in Khbabez is just going to outperform and out-aggressive Ozari and get a comfortable decision. I really do wish that Glory would have waited a couple more years to develop Ozari a little bit more, whether it be on the regional scenes or having him compete at more Glory rival events. But hey, maybe they didn't want one to snatch him up. Next up, in what is almost a guaranteed fight of the night, the Turkish fighter Yurtin Barak will be taking on Michael Boapea in the middleweight division. Barak is the only person to beat the current champion Visi. Meanwhile, Barapua was actually held a very high count of himself when he fought Sergio Braun. Both these guys are very aggressive boxers who utilize a lot of high output and can be defensively limited at times. A lot of how this fight's going to be determined is who is going to be put on the back foot. Both of these guys love to pressure their opponents back. I don't really trust Barak's chin anymore. I think Boapea is the sharper and heavier hitter, so I think Boapea is going to land early on and then dominate the rest of the fight. I'll have Boapea winning a rather comfortable decision. Nordin Mahadin is making his way down to light heavyweight as he takes on Felipe Micheletti, who happens to be one of the only people to beat Luis Tavares. Very interesting contrast to styles here. Micheletti is a very distanced striker who utilizes a lot of kicks, likes to get in and get out very quickly. Mahadin's more of a slower moving combination worker. He utilizes a lot more power in his boxing. And because of Mahadin's more sluggish movements, I think that Micheletti should have a lot of success here. I think that Micheletti also has a very good chin. Even though he hasn't fought someone with the heavy hands of Mahadin before, I think it should hold up in this fight. So I'll have Micheletti constantly be on the outside, out-kicking Mahadin being unable to do the Abita strategy, constantly clinching with him. I'll have Micheletti taking a decision. Jordan Bates takes on Jay Overmeer next in what has to be a title eliminator. Both these guys are on very good streaks, very defensively sound. They don't get hit very much. Bates is a guy that loves to use distance. He's got good footwork, get in and get out without taking too much punishment. Overmeer is a classic Dutch fighter. He is very versatile in his techniques, very well-rounded. He utilizes a lot of clinch knees, and I think that's where he excels a lot in fights. Overmeer is going to have a lot of success in this fight, working the legs and the body of Jay Bates. Overmare is also showed in affinity to have more knockout power and has a better time at consistently finding the chin that Bates does. I don't trust Bates' chin too much in this fight. I don't believe that Overmare hits the hardest in the whole division, but once he consistently lands, he does normally get the knockout. So I'll actually have Overmare taking this fight via a unanimous decision. I do not believe he'll finish Bates. Bates has shown a lot of improvements recently. In the co-main event, there is a light heavyweight contest between Daniel Talado and Tarik Khbabez. There's not a whole lot I can say about this fight. I just think that Tarik's probably going to run through this guy. The fact that Talado is taking this fight on just a week's notice already tells you a whole lot about the situation. Khbabez is on a 4-fight losing streak against Rico and Tony Plazbot twice and Serkan Maslobloyev on short notice, but none of those losses are to be shameful for. I think this is a good fight for him to bounce back from. He's just going to viciously work his way through it. He's going to overwhelm him with body shots and kicks and get a finish in the first round. So I have Tarik Khbabez winning via first round knockout. Finally, in the main event of the evening, a super fight between Beztati versus Petpanomrung for Beztati's lightweight kickboxing title. A unique contrast of styles between these two. Petpanomrung has incorporated his Muay Thai very well into kickboxing, utilizes a lot of good leg kicks, utilizes the knees into the clinch very well. And I think that for this fight, it's going to be very important for him to incorporate that into his game. One of the biggest successes of the fight that Stoyan had against Beztati in his last fight was that he utilized a lot of leg kicks and knees into the clinch. Petpanomrung is normally good at keeping distance and being defensively sound. It's going to be crucial in this fight that Petpanomrung keeps a distance from Beztati. Beztati, that left hook of his is always going to be lethal. The knees are going to be there. The uppercut is going to be there because Petpanomrung is constantly going to be fighting a much taller and longer opponent. And for Pech, it's going to be very difficult for him to land strikes because of how significant of a reach advantage that is. Beztati has got to exert a lot of energy. He's got to keep it busy on what Kevin Van Oostring did against Petpanomrung, because in that fight, Kevin caused a lot of problems for Pech because he didn't let Pech get into his rhythm where he's constantly at range using the body kicks. Beztati has got to disrupt the rhythm or else it's going to be a long neck for him. As for a prediction, I might go with the upset here. I think that Petpanomrung is probably going to win this fight. I think that he is a more experienced opponent. I think that if you look at Beztati, he has struggled against Thai opponents like Tyjani in the past. I think that Petpanomrung's chin should hold up. He's never been dropped. He's never fought someone as big of a lightweight before, but I do think it will hold up here. I believe Petpanomrung will incorporate the knees and the leg kicks very well, and that will disrupt a lot of what Beztati does best. So I'll have Petpanomrung taking a decision here and becoming the new lightweight champion in the world and a 2-division champion in the process. Well, I appreciate all of you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. I think that this card should be proved to be pretty exciting. I do like how there's a lot more heavyweight and light heavyweight fights on the card because those are the 2 divisions that Glory has struggled with the most incorporating in. For the fight I am most looking forward to, it's definitely the main event. There's so much on the line there. It should be an intriguing fight to watch. As for the fighter to look out for, I'm actually going to go with Petpanomrung. He can definitely put on the performance of a lifetime here, and in the process become the pound-for-pound best kickboxer in the world. So thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to leave your own predictions down in the comments below. Like and subscribe for more content. This is Tyjani Productions, and I'm out.